What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. It's been just over a week since Chadwick Boseman passed away, and following an amazing tribute by Marvel Studios, we've gotten a ton of details from his co-star and his director Ryan Coogler on Black Panther about what he meant to the franchise and what he meant to them specifically. Well, now a ton of publications and other YouTubers have started to take a crack explaining what might happen with Black Panther 2 and how Marvel Studios is going to proceed now that Chadwick Boseman has passed away. We've got a couple ideas here at the channel, and there's one that I heard from another YouTuber that I really liked. We're going to break it all down in the couple of paths and options that Marvel Studio has, and yes, none of them include recasting T'Challa in the MCU. That will always be Chadwick Boseman. It's just how do we go forward from here, and will he appear in the next film via CGI? We're going to break down all of Marvel Studios' most likely options for what happens now in Black Panther 2, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including this 1/4 scale XM Studios Beta Ray bill, as well as our third and final Infinity Saga box set. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So obviously, first things first, and as I mentioned at the end of the prologue, there will be 0 recasting for the MCU for T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther. There are certain characters that they can go ahead and switch out some ancillary characters, and they even did it with Rhodey at the beginning of the MCU. I hear you, a lot of you have chimed in and said, hey, that actually worked, but this is a much different situation, and I don't think there's anybody either behind the camera or as the audience for us that want to see someone else in that role, and I think Marvel Studios is going to make the smart decision, not recast, and simply pass on the mantle. Now, before we get there, and some of you may have had the same line of thinking as I did, and as I mentioned in a couple of other videos, not to make this personal, but one of my family members is facing terminal cancer, and sometimes you get lucky enough to know that the end is coming. In my head, I sort of thought, well, wait a minute, is there a possibility that maybe he was able to talk to Marvel Studios and they had a plan all worked out, or something like what happened with Carrie Fisher when she passed away in between Star Wars films? They can put him in the next one using CGI, maybe he had recorded lines. But then we came to find out, and rather quickly, that he had kept it from everybody. No one at Marvel Studios knew, not even the director Ryan Coogler, who in the last couple of days shared some very sad words saying that he had written these lines for Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa he'll never get to hear. Now, in lieu of not having that character now going forward into the next Black Panther, there's a couple of options that Marvel Studios could choose to do and never recast the character. Obviously, passing the mantle on to his little sister Shuri makes sense, but there was another YouTuber, one I'm sure you guys listen to, Charlie over at Emergency Awesome, who recently offered up perhaps they could have T'Challa using CGI die at the hands of the next huge villain, be it Doctor Doom, Namor, something like that, so that when you have his death on screen, it's memorialized in the film and the reverberations are felt throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe the way that we all felt them as fans in the real world. Now, one of my own theories, in having watched Black Panther a couple of times over the last week, is when he goes to the ancestral plane the second time, after Killmonger throws him off of the cliff. Now, he's not quite dead yet, but he's in a coma and he's about to die. And he's told by his father that it's time for him, T'Challa, to join them on the ancestral plane, but he says he's not ready, that he has to go back and make things right. Perhaps it's the case that they can use that ancestral plane in the way that he was supposed to be there before, to show that the work is done and have him have some sort of lines. And that was another thing put forth by some YouTubers, that perhaps you could show Shuri and him in the ancestral plane, much in the way that he talked to his father T'Chaka, to be able to tie him in. Of course, it would only be a few lines, and they're going to have to use CGI to sort of reconstruct this whole thing. Regardless of what you've seen and what some people have said, I saw tweets way too soon that were saying, apparently, take this with a grain of salt, they're going to recast. Absolutely not, as well as never canceling Black Panther 2. I saw that as well. The people thought that Black Panther 2 may end up just being canceled altogether from Marvel Studios. Definitely not. That film, that franchise means too much to the MCU and to the community as a whole, and now especially with Chadwick Boseman's passing and in his spirit, there's no way that they're going to cancel that film. more likely the case they're going to have a tribute before and after, and then work in the actor posthumously in some sort of CGI capacity with some poignant lines so that Chadwick Boseman can have a proper send-off on screen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, of course, knowing that the whole film and script had been written for Boseman, they're going to have to rewrite in the way that the Marvel Phase 4 slate has already gone this year. Any slight delays are going to be what they're going to be. I'm not sure if this film will still come out during Marvel Phase 4 or if they'll have to push it back to Marvel Phase 5, but Marvel Studios was very vocal in saying they were just processing this over the last week. They hadn't even begun to think about what would come next for Black Panther, and I don't think that thinking about it too early was disrespectful for the most part on fans. I think it was definitely coming from a place of concern and a place of worry and a place of wanting him to take a part in the film in some way, and of course worrying that Marvel would even consider recasting him. But it was pretty well known within the couple of hours, seeing the outpouring from the community and everybody else, that a recasting was completely off the table. And the most likely case scenario is what would have happened with the Black Panther mantle anyway. It's happening in the comics, it's happened several times, and of course all of those comics, by the way, are now made free by Marvel, where Shuri becomes the next Black Panther. She's in line for the mantle, for the ascension to the throne. She is who will get the mantle and become the next Black Panther in Black Panther 2. It only seems right and fitting. It's what's happened in the comics, and it's surely what's going to happen here now in the MCU. It's just how they're choosing to go about it that we're going to have to wait and see. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. How would you like to see this? If you're going to see Chadwick Boseman one more time with a couple of lines or in a scene in the next Black Panther so that he can get a proper send-off, what's your perfect idea for that? They have the CGI. I'm sure they can do it respectfully with his family's blessing and do something that everybody is pleased with. But how would you want to see it? How would you most like to see him memorialized? Let me know all your thoughts down below, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 700,000 subscriber mark. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and it'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes we're giving away here at the channel, like this insane 1/4 scale XM Studios Beta Ray Bill, as well as our 3rd and final Infinity Saga box set. We gave away 2 at the beginning of the year. This will be our 3rd and final one, given away during December at the end of the year during the holiday season. If you want to be entered to win either of the PlayStations, the 1/4 scale Beta Ray Bill, or this limited edition Infinity Saga box set, this will be the final one we give away here at the channel, as these were limited in pre-production to 4,000 and have been long sold out. All the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell to keep up with the channel, so turn notifications on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of the video, the same way we're doing here, and if you've missed any of the previous winner announcements, no worries. All you have to do is go back to the channel, look for the winner announcement in the sub count in the title, click on that video, and scroll to the end. My name is Michael Roman. This is Everything Always, guys. Thanks so much for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.